Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Wheels Up podcast. I'm Frankie. This is my co host.
Mary.
And today we have our special guest star, Sinead, who is a close friend of ours and a fellow Criminal Minds watcher. And the basis for today's episode is like a lot of people, because seasons 13 through 15 of Criminal Minds aren't on Netflix, sorry. She doesn't quite know what happens after those seasons. So we're just going to ask Sinead basically what she thinks happens post season 12. And the catch is we can't tell her if she's wrong or not. So
She's gonna have no idea.
I hear somebody crying.
no one's crying.
About my voice sounds like.
Okay, there.
Now I'll probably cry later tonight.
Um, the first interruption of the night. Sorry about that. So yeah, Mary, do you want to start? You want to say anything, or do you just want to go into it?
I have nothing to say.
Okay. Do you want to do the first category? We didn't discuss what the first category was. You can just pick one of the three we discussed.
So what we're gonna do is we have a few categories so we can give Sinead little prompts on her predictions, so she doesn't just have to do a hour-long ramble. I think the first category should be predicted romantic relationships. I think that was the most interesting.
Okay.
All right. Do I get
So
like?
we could just give you each character, and then you can
All right.
give us a guess.
Oh wait, Mary, before we start, I suggest if you're gonna give her like a list of characters, focus on the ones. This is probably pretty obvious, but the ones that are still there, like season 12.
Well, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was afraid that you were gonna like do seasons 13 to 15 characters, but it's okay.
No, that's a good note. I also don't have a list in front of me, so
Should pull up a list.
let's start with Reed.
Okay.
Oh, I think he ends up with JJ.
Mary and
Okay.
I had like
So
20
blunt.
We've had 20-minute rants about this subject in like 4
We
different
bring it up
episodes.
in every single episode.
All right.
Do you have any like is it just cuz that's been a thing, or do you have any specific reasons why you think that's going to happen?
I mean, it's just an intuition thing. I just assumed that they were gonna end up together.
If that were to happen, do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing for the show?
I don't know. I think it's just like expected. Like sometimes you just have ships that are supposed to be together and they happen. And it's not necessarily like good or bad, it just happens.
Okay. It's a good stance. I'm just laughing because Mary and I have really hard opinions on this.
Okay, wait. I'm assuming they end up together because clearly you're like reacting. Do you guys think it's a good thing or a bad thing?
Mary, do you want to start?
Okay, so you can't make that assumption. You don't know what's gonna happen, but a thing happens. I'm sorry. We don't really like it.
we don't. And we'll leave it at that. Okay.
So I guess that covers JJ.
Yeah.
Then we could do Rossi.
It's a good one.
I don't remember the characters that Rossi interacts with. I know he had somebody that I thought he was going to end up with, but I don't remember who it is.
He has a few different love interests over the course of the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to say he ends up single because why not?
Also, you don't have to pick like a specific person. You could just give like a vague idea of who you think they'd end up with, because some of them like new characters are introduced.
All right.
How about Prentice?
I really don't remember what happened in like the last 10 seasons of the show. Didn't she have some like British love interest from the CIA or something like that she was into?
The guy who was like the head of her team.
Maybe. I don't remember. Well, I don't think she ends up with him, but I don't really have any idea of what she would end up, like who she would end up with. Honestly, I don't remember half the characters.
That's okay.
It's okay. Mary and I both agree that like the latter half of their lives in the show are really badly written anyways. So
Yeah. After like season 8, it kind of goes to shit.
yeah.
I'm gonna Google a quick list of the characters from season 12. So I have like some.
I like that Lindsay Vaughn is on the season 12 list of characters. That's just on Google. Yes, that is one of the most important characters.
Technically, I would say yes. She's very
But
important.
the other Aubrey Plaza isn't on there though.
That's a
I think it's
shame.
strange. They put Lindsay but not her. How about Garcia?
Oh, I don't
The
know.
tech whiz.
Does she end up with Luke? I kind of. No, you guys can't tell me. This is.
We can't. It's well. You said you didn't want spoilers.
You said you didn't want any spoilers.
I don't. I don't know what to do now. I don't know. I don't know. Luke is a character, right?
Yes.
Yes, Luke is a character.
12, so I don't know if I remember that correctly, but
he's the one that replaces Morgan.
Yeah.
The fact that
he's
Morgan,
basically Morgan with a dog.
That's.
Okay. Well, I think she ends up with Luke. Why not?
Interesting choice.
I can.
Okay. How about you remember Tara Lewis?
Yeah. I didn't know her that well.
I'm not even sure if I remember who she ends up with.
I don't remember her ending up with anyone.
All right.
Yeah, she might have.
You go.
What other ones? Luke is done. How about Stephen Walker? He joined, I think, did he join the team in season 12 or season 11?
It was very late.
Prentice brought him on.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
It's fine.
That's okay.
I barely remember who he is. And I've seen the show 3.5 times.
He wasn't on the show for super long, so.
Oh yeah.
What did he look like?
He's African American and he had like a family and kids. It was pretty cool.
He didn't have much of a character.
Yeah, he wasn't super present.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, we need more people on the team.
I don't remember who that is, so I think he ends up with his family and kids.
I think that might be all the people on the team in season 12.
Wait, season 12, the lineup is that shitty?
Yeah, because Morgan had left and Hotch had left.
My two favorites.
And I think that's it. Because we skipped JJ and Luke because she like paired them off with people. I don't think there's really anybody. Oh, is Matt on the team in season 12 or does he join later?
No, Matt's on the team season maybe. Sinead, do you know who Matt is?
No, I don't recall any Matts.
Okay, then I think he's later then.
Why do I feel like the actor who plays him was on Hawaii Five-0?
I don't know if he... he was on
I'm
Hawaii
looking it
Five-O.
up.
Look it up. He was on something else that like I was like I didn't know he was in. While Mary's looking that up, Sinead, I would like to have a small conversation. Have you seen the Night at the Museum movies? Have you seen
A
all of
long
them?
time ago. A long, long time ago. What?
Have you seen
All
all
of
of the
them?
movies?
There are 3, right?
He is. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. But here, let me finish this. Okay, Sinead. So you saw like how? Do you remember a lot of it, or was it too long ago to remember a lot of it?
I remember a decent amount of it.
Okay. Do you remember like a lot of the cast?
Vaguely.
Okay. I want to have this discussion because it's been mine. It's this is the same thing that happened with Now You See Me. Of like I just discovered these movies that were
Mhm.
like taken from me as a child, and now they're like these treasures that I never got to experience.
She fixates on them.
I do. Okay, so Night at the Museum 2. Do you recall like some of the just the wildest cast members in the second movie? Because there's like some wild casting choices in there.
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, I probably didn't think that when I was watching it when I was like 10 years old, but
Hey, fun fact, I watched the Night at the Museum second movie for the first time like yesterday and I'm 18. So I like my mind was in a loop. Do you remember Bill Hader being in the second movie?
yes, I think.
Why why is no one else shocked by this? Like it was the craziest thing because I love Bill Hader. And I only know him as like a comedian. And so
Well, I
all,
don't think I would have recognized him when I watched Night at the Museum the first time,
but
or the only time.
I'm 18.
Yeah,
So
but I watched it when I was a child before I even knew what SNL was.
yeah, too bad. I watched it when I was 18, like yesterday, and I knew everything. Anyways, he comes on screen and you just see like this Civil War general with like really long blonde hair and a mustache, and you're like, you look at him and you're like, that can't be Bill Hader because he wouldn't do this. And then you forget that this was like 10 years ago or something, so he probably would have done this 10 years ago. And he starts talking, and you're like, Jesus Christ, that's Bill Hader.
I think he would do it now.
Museum movies were absolutely wild, and I think a lot of actors did a lot of things that they would not do today.
Those movies were insane. Also, the Jonas Brothers were in the second movie.
Yeah, I remember that much.
Um, I just wanted to say that because I think we all need to remember those movies again because they're really good movies. Also, we all need to remember that Rami Malek is in those movies because he looks great in those movies. um, anyways, I always do this. I always talk for 20 minutes each podcast about a piece of media
We
that
get
isn't Criminal
we get off
Minds.
track.
That's cool.
Anyways, moving back to Criminal Minds.
All right.
Mary, do you want to next category?
You have the list.
Well, okay, I'll do this one. Um, yeah, let's do. Okay, I'm gonna rename the characters, and we're gonna go through. Sinead's gonna come up with one piece of trauma that each character goes through. Um,
Be creative.
be
I
creative.
doubt you'll get as weird as the show gets because they go out there.
If you're like, I feel embarrassed about my answer because I don't think they'd ever do this, they probably would.
That's true.
Got it.
Um, so let's start with the trauma king himself, Spencer Reed.
All right, okay. So I think the last time I saw him, he was coming back from Mexico with all that drug stuff, and his mom was suffering. Okay, first of all, I think his mom dies at some point because why not? Just make him suffer, of course. I don't think he goes back to drugs, but wasn't there something with what's her face? The Aubrey's character. What's her face? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Uh, her name in the show is Kat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sure she's involved somehow. So I think my guess is he gets a different love interest, like not JJ, which I'm assuming he ends up with, and like a new character. And I'm gonna assume that something very traumatic happens to her. She's probably killed because why not? Um, and I'm gonna say that Kat has something to do with that. And I don't know.
Well, we can't tell you if you're right or wrong, but that was a very interesting prediction.
All right.
Okay. Also, if it seems like we're judging you, we're not. It's probably us judging the show itself because you're probably coming up with better answers in terms of writing than the actual writers do. Every episode of this podcast is Mary and I going, "Wow, the writers are cowards and are bad at writing."
And then we go, if you're ever watching this in the future and you want to be on the show, we'd love to pick your mind.
Out of curiosity, wasn't Matthew Gray Gubler like one of the primary writers for the show as well?
I can't confirm or deny that because I genuinely don't know. But I will say that he did push really hard for Maeve to be killed when she was a
Which
character.
is sad.
That's really
Matthew, why?
And Mary and I could literally have an entire episode of why that's wrong.
I firmly believe that if Maeve had survived, then it would have led to a better plot point for the end of the show. And I think that is the singular.
When Maeve died, I thought that was unfair. I thought it was really stupid that she died before anything could happen.
Sinead, do you want me to tell? Mary's gonna get so mad at me. Do you want me to tell you what I think should have happened at the end of the show?
No, Ricky.
Yes.
Okay. Everyone hates me for this. Okay, so like at the end of a lot of seasons of Criminal Minds, there's like a party for some reason, like usually like a dinner party at Rossi's or some sort of wedding. So at the end of the show, they're all gathered at a party, right? And it ends really happy with a bunch of people being at a party. The show ends. What I think should have happened was like you think the show's about to end, they're all having fun, they're all like at someone's house, like on the grass, just like dancing with each other and like having fun. I think at the next house on top of the roof should have been a sniper, and he kills the entire team and the show ends.
He wanted to end with them all dead for no reason.
A terrible ending.
Dude, we know the ending of the show, and I can tell you it's not that much worse than the actual ending of the show.
It's worse. That's worse.
And why is it worse?
Because they're dead.
I don't think so.
I think I think it should end with Reed being the only character left.
No.
It's Reed being the only character left because he killed everyone else.
No, I just think that I like all the other characters, but Reed and JJ were the only two that were like there from the beginning and then stayed through, and Garcia, but I don't know if she stays because I know Reed stays, and I assume if JJ and Reed end up together, they stay together. Although I kind of think that JJ is gonna die.
Why do you think that?
Because the show wouldn't give Reed happiness without taking it away.
That's a good point.
And I think that, well, I don't think that JJ's marriage to what's his face, was it Will? Was
Will.
a good marriage. I don't think that was a good decision.
I like Will.
I liked Will too. I didn't think it was a good marriage. I didn't think it was a good match.
He doesn't have a super deep and dynamic character, but he doesn't need one.
That's not my point. I just thought that JJ wasn't really happy with him. Like, because you don't see their family that often, but when you do, first of all, it's either with her child getting kidnapped, or it's like it wasn't a very happy dynamic, I don't think. Like, a lot of the times they were together, they were fighting, like shown on screen.
I think we're gonna have to agree to disagree.
Okay, moving on. Oh, I shouldn't do that. We just did Reed. Okay. We'll go in the same order basically. JJ.
I think she dies.
Flat out.
Yeah.
That's her trauma, death.
Well, okay, I think she dies at the hands of a serial killer, obviously. Probably someone like Mr. Scratch, although I don't know if there's gonna be a new serial killer like brought in, because they had the whole like what's his face? They do that where they have like a primary serial killer and then they just like have it for a couple seasons and then but I think she's gonna die at the hands of one of the worst serial killers, and then Reed is gonna be super depressed for a while, and like after they finally get together, she's gonna die like immediately afterwards.
Thank Lord.
That's a pretty good prediction, actually.
In between, I don't think anything would happen to her family. Probably. Like, I think they draw the line at killing off children. But maybe I'm wrong, because they did have a couple episodes where they like did some pretty terrible things to children. I think Will is. I don't think they would kill off Will. I think they would like just get rid of him, like make something so traumatic that he just like leaves or like, you know.
I thought you were gonna say he was like in a coma or something. Like so traumatic, he's just like disassociates for the rest of his life.
I think he and JJ fight and then he gets upset and they get divorced or something like that. And then he leaves and he's off the show.
I think that's a
Did
fair
you know
stance.
that the actor that plays Will doesn't actually have a Louisiana accent?
Yes. Because I've seen
I
him.
didn't like it. Wait, what else is he in?
Oh, I don't remember. I just know I've seen the actor before. I remember I looked it up a while ago and then I was like, oh, I've seen him before.
Imagine
sometimes you watch like weird obscure shows I've like never heard of before.
Me?
Yeah. Like Alias?
Alias?
I don't know how to say
it. Show. That was like a big show back in the 2000s, early 2000s.
Back in the early 2000s.
Well, that's when all the best shows were made. You know, Criminal Minds started back in the early 2000s.
Fair point. Okay.
To be fair, the best episodes of Criminal Minds happened in the early 2000s.
That's also true. That's why I don't remember the last like 10 seasons.
They're bad. Okay, so we did Spencer and JJ. It's so hard because the final lineup sucks so bad. I can't like name any of the characters I really like. We'll do Garcia. Trauma-wise.
I don't know. Because her backstory isn't like a big part of the show. And so her trauma isn't also a big part of the show, like her life. I get the impression that Morgan comes back short, like for a cameo, and then he ends up dying, and she's really upset about it.
I love how dark you're getting.
Well, it's a pretty dark show. That's true. I don't know. I feel like, does she have pets in the show? I feel like she had a cat.
That was Emily's cat.
Yeah,
but I think she kept it.
She took care of Sergio for a while, yeah.
No.
And I will like slide in that you can the trauma doesn't necessarily have to be like a really big thing. If you want to do like stupid little character stuff, that's good too, because the show does have some of that. I remember for the first
Reed's lactose intolerance.
I was about to do that, Mary. I had a punchline.
I'm sorry.
And you ruined it. Anyways, I was about to advertise. The first 2 episodes of the show are Reed trauma, and one of them, I said that one of Reed's traumas thing, right besides like getting arrested, was he's lactose intolerant.
They mention it once.
All right.
Anyways, next one. God. I'm forgetting some. What is it, Mary? Do you remember the other Rossi? Oh my God, Rossi. This meeting's gonna end in 10 minutes.
I think Rossi. I think something happens to his daughter, but like nothing big, just something like she gets temporarily threatened or something like that.
Okay. What was I gonna say? Oh, should we try to do a new meeting after this? Because this one's gonna end in like 10 minutes, or do you want to extend it to to a new meeting, or do you want to end it before the 10 minutes?
If we could end it, like I don't mean to cut this short or anything, but I have a lot of work to do tonight.
Oh,
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
Sinead, this is a very serious event. You're going to be letting down tens of viewers.
You mean ones of viewers?
We have single-digit numbers on every episode. Okay.
All right.
It's fine. We're gonna have the last category anyways. I think we only have like 1 or 2 characters. So, Mary, am I forgetting anyone for this category?
I don't think she did Luke.
Oh, Luke? Well, he's new, but I think his dog dies. Totally unrelated to like the serial killer stuff. His dog just dies of old age or something like that.
And I don't think she did Prentice either.
Oh yeah.
Am I wrong?
Oh, Prentice. Prentice, who also suffered massive trauma in her life. No, I think they're done traumatizing Prentice. I think she just witnesses the other character's trauma and is devastated by it.
Is that it, Mary? Am I forgetting any characters?
I mean, we could be. I think that was all of them though.
Okay.
Except for like that one guy, but Sinead doesn't really know him that well, so.
I don't
Matt.
think anyone knows him that well. They don't write him enough into the show to know him that well. Anyways, I guess to end this, I want to ask Sinead, overall, do you think the ending of the show specifically is good or bad? Do you think the writers will do a good job of ending the show?
You already told her that.
Well, that's my opinion.
Okay.
I think the show ends bad, but
there are very few TV shows that I've watched, and I've watched a lot of TV shows where the ending is particularly good. So I don't think the writers will do a good job at ending the show. I think it'll be something. I think they'll have some sort of tragedy that doesn't really sit well with the audience, and then they'll like try and make up for it with other fluffy stuff at the end to make it like a happy ending. And I don't think that's how these shows should end.
Do you think it's going to be closer to the Game of Thrones end of the spectrum, or like How to Get Away with Murder end of the spectrum?
I don't know what happened in Game of Thrones, but
it was just really shitty and bad.
All right. Well, okay. I liked the ending to How to Get Away with Murder. Like, overall, it was kind of I don't know, it was an interesting ending. I thought it was a good job.
Yeah, I thought like that side is like, oh, it makes sense. They had a plan from the beginning and the ending was pretty good. And then Game of Thrones is just like garbage fire.
All right. Well, in that case, I think it'll be closer to the garbage fire end of things based on your guys' reactions and also the fact that the last 3 seasons are not on Netflix.
That's why they're not on Netflix, because they're just so bad.
Yeah.
I think the ending is garbage fire. I think the middle is garbage fire. I think the beginning is just salvageable of the show.
Haven't you watched this show like 3 times?
Yep.
We like it.
We like it.
It's
just badly written.
Oh no, we love it. We don't like it.
It's like family. You know when you love family but you don't like family? That's exactly what that show is.
Fair enough.
Anyways, thank you, Sinead, for being on this episode of Wheels Up.
Well, thank you for having me. This was very entertaining.
I hope
majority of your predictions were wrong, but some of them were right.
Some of the key ones are right.
And you don't know which is which, so
that's fine. I just, why not?
And now, after you watch the final 3 seasons, you could come back and then rewatch this and react to your reaction.
I feel like Sinead's reaction in the future to her past predictions will be the same reaction that everyone has like now when what was it? When everyone looked back on 2020 and they're like, remember at the beginning of 2020 when I said it was going to be a good year? um
So
yeah.
it only gets worse. Good to know.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Wheels Up podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. But if you don't wanna, if you hated this video, go unsubscribe, dislike it, and make sure to report us straight to YouTube so you can have this video taken down.
Give us 2 thumbs down.
Anyways, thank you for watching. Bye.
Bye.